Hello, everyone, and welcome to Earp Sister Feels. This is our episode number 34. My name is Kevin, and on this particular video, we are going to be discussing the Wynonna Earp episode Love's All Over from season 4, episode number 7. And before we dive into things, I'm going to a little bit of a quick intro for everybody who's here, some of our regulars. First, we have Rita and Jess.
Hi.
Kylie.
Ew.
Alyssa.
Hey.
And Terry Ann.
Hi.
So it's before we hit the record button here, we were just reminiscing. It's been like 6+ months since we've done one of these, so it is great to be back together.
Can I just say that your intro gave me like a flutter? I was like, oh, thanks. I was like, I missed it.
Yes. If this is your first time watching one of these, do check the description below. We've got a link to our playlist. We've covered every episode in various forms, several of us, in the last couple of years. So if you want to go back and go through those, playlist is there on YouTube. All we really do here is have a focus on the Earp sister scenes or relationship as we discuss the episodes. We will then, as all good Earpers do, tangentially just move into anything else we feel like covering on the show. But that is at least our focus, or where we attempt to go first. So obviously, natural spoilers here for anything and everything that's appeared in the show up till this point. But yeah, it's so great to have the show back. And it's going to be so much fun here as we have the final episodes of season 4. But, as we all know, certainly from our previous discussions, and those of you that's been watching the show, we have the lovely white hot relationship, but Doc and Wynonna are not in such a good spot, and that's certainly going to create some, I don't know if I'd say tension, but maybe some issues for the Earp sisters. What do you folks think?
I'm going with hard tension for that. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, we see at the beginning of the episode and throughout the episode that Waverly and Doc are on very good terms right now. And Waverly and Wynonna are kind of season 1 bickering. So I would say that the Wynonna and Doc tension is probably pretty prevalent in the sister relationship.
Mm-hmm. This whole episode felt very season 1
Yeah.
to me in a weird way.
Yeah, like that animosity that like Wynonna has had as far as like everybody loving Waverly.
Mm-hmm.
She literally said that throughout the episode at least twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that Waverly still so like she knows deep down in her core that Doc and Wynonna still have that bond. So even though they're going through their stuff, she's just like, it's Doc and Wynonna. Like there's always going to be something there. There's always going to be a pull there. So I don't know if I would call it hope per se, like that they'll get back together, but just it's like a knowing that she has that they, I guess, for lack of a better word, like belong together. Or well, there's a pull. They're pulled to each other. I'll say that.
Yeah, like and Waverly, like she sees that love. Like at the end of the episode, she tells Dimitri like that she can see that love between Wynonna and Doc, even though there's like buried below the like what'd she say, like buried beneath the layers and layers of like hurt and whatever.
And part of that probably is like Waverly wanting the best for Wynonna too, and I think
Doc,
Doc, yeah. But man, I just want them to be together and happy. My heart.
That's not good television.
I know.
Shocker.
I know.
What do you think of all that, Kevin?
I was going to say Waverly's eternal optimism, telling him it's just a little blip and everything else. It is just so fascinating to watch it because both Wynonna and Doc, they are so stubborn, they are so prideful that and Waverly just wants them happy, and that's why that's why everybody loves Waverly. In that sense. So it's interesting to watch, and I just, like you all have been saying, can get a little concerned that that'll create some bumpy stuff for the sisters. I mean, certainly I was a little surprised that Waverly kind of lit into Wynonna when she came in late to the shorties, kind of giving her a hard time, not calling her back and everything else. So I was afraid we might get, a little more stumbly, but aside from Wynonna's choice of venue for where they would go, the two of them were still pretty close at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, at the beginning, like we find out that it's been a month since the last episode, and like Wynonna is still like kind of so far gone that she's forgotten this like engagement, like the engagement party, and
she's definitely reverted to that like season 1 Wynonna, like you had said, about like how it feels very season 1. It did feel very much like she was reverting back into that sort of I would say wall or like mask that she puts up in that sense.
Yeah. But at the same time, like what I think Kevin was like kind of hinting at the strip club, like when Waverly kind of brings the issue about Nicole and the wedding, like Wynonna is the first one to say, tell her what you want because you deserve it.
Baby girl.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We got the one baby girl of the
That's number one.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd get a baby girl in a strip club.
The strip club, right? Yeah.
Bingo.
Oh my gosh.
Only on Wynonna.
So that was like the only moment of I don't know, presence that the two of them had. Like where, the both of their stories were like all together, and it didn't feel like Waverly was let down by Wynonna or that Wynonna was jealous of Waverly. That was like the one moment of the episode for them where, I don't know, it felt more like the sisters that we've known for the last 3.5 seasons.
I thought the back of the pickup was more like, for me, it felt like it's that whole like drunk words, sober thoughts kind of a thing, but like it's hangover words. I don't know. I like,
but there was still a little bit of
like it was
back of the pickup, like with Wynonna saying everybody loves you because it's a day that ends in Y.
which
So-
like it could have been a dig, but it also was like, well, obviously everybody loves you. Get over, like it's fine. Like
Yeah.
don't worry about, I think I heard it a little bit more of like, I am hungover and cranky and but this is still true kind of a thing. But I guess that's just my personality.
But to me, also that the pickup truck scene was kind of the opposite of season 1, because here it's Waverly kind of taking care of Wynonna to a certain degree. Completely dressing her and everything
Right.
Yeah,
else.
that was the best. Just the like soft, like
Nobody owns a whole shirt in this town.
no.
Not in the
Especially when it's not
summertime.
snowing. Yeah, when
Yeah.
it's not snowing. Yeah.
But no, excellent observation though about the exchange at the strip club. I mean, just so natural with Waverly mentioning concerns about the wedding, and Wynonna just totally, nuh-uh, you take care of it, you tell her what you want, complete with, sparrows weaving your gown and everything else. I mean,
10-year-old Waverly wedding plans.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite lines. But how the sparrows weave their gown so quickly?
Right.
And I loved how she was able to switch from like I'm taking a jab at you, and I'm getting on my way to being drunk if she wasn't drunk already, to very seriously like, no, ask for what you want, baby girl, you deserve it. So I love that she was able to do that switch. Like, yeah, I'm kind of making fun of you, but real talk, you deserve the world.
Mhm.
So
and even unsaid, and I'm going to make sure you get it,
Yeah.
kind of thing too.
Well, I think that's why I thought that the truck scene didn't feel like that, because Wynonna, like it felt like she did have to say all of those things. Like their communication felt like season 1 communication. It wasn't like, I know what you're thinking. It sort of felt like Wynonna was kind of dismissing Waverly's feelings, but then as soon as she picked up on the demon part of it all, she was like, you know, in I'll protect you, stay home, don't worry about it mode kind of thing, which I think was I don't know. I feel like that felt season 1E for me.
I have a question for all of you, actually, in regards to dynamics between those two.
Mm-hmm.
So Waverly's kind of lost a massive part of her innocence that she had in the first 3 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
but especially with this episode because that happened in 406, right? Where
Yeah.
they both, so
Mhm.
they've both killed people. But Waverly's known Wynonna, who's done that before, not with like people, but like she's ended things before for multiple beings, but Waverly's never done that. So I'm getting a big like Waverly's processing a lot and isn't paying attention to Wynonna the way she normally has in the preceding seasons because she's like working out whatever she just did
And that she doesn't remember
on some level.
what
But she
did.
doesn't, right? But like it affects you regardless of whether you remember doing something or not. Like it's in there. So I'm just curious if any of you picked up on that, or if not, how you saw that dynamic.
Well, I think that Waverly is a poor communicator.
What?
It's yeah, who would have thought? But like how we saw her like not talk to Nicole about her issues, she's also not talking to Wynonna. She's like there and aware, and we see we saw like 2 meaningful looks away with like just Waverly's face. I don't know, when Wynonna leaves the barn after she's like, let's go celebrate. You have like this foreboding look where Waverly knows there's things going on, but she still isn't talking about them because she doesn't.
Mhm.
Yeah, she reverts back to fun Waverly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at that exchange she had with Doc when he brought up the whole idea of man, it certainly seems like, you know, she's not aware of what she did. So when she goes into these power modes,
Mhm.
is that by choice that she's suppressing it, or is it because there's something else coming out that literally creates that situation where she has no recollection of what happened? She said she remembered touching her.
It could be both too.
Hmm.
Like the not wanting to remember, but then also like physically can't because of whatever is happening, like magically or angelically.
That would be so unsettling. Like not knowing what, like I imagine it would be very unsettling to know that like the end results and the before result, but like nothing in between.
Yeah.
These are such good questions.
So much to think about.
I hadn't even thought of it that way, because when I originally was looking at their dynamics, I was kind of viewing it from sort of like their relationship had matured a bit, or like changed to the point where Waverly is just like, oh, this is Wynonna. Because I'm thinking, you know, when the pickup truck, when the door opened, then Waverly like doesn't even think twice. She's not like, Wynonna, what are you doing? She literally just like goes to get the whiskey and just like, yeah, and then like isn't really paying attention, like what the heck is Wynonna doing in this truck? She just kind of goes along with it. So like, oh, maybe they're just comfortable enough with each other and are accepting each other for who they are. But now I'm also thinking, is it partially that, or is it that, you know, Waverly is choosing not to look at certain things for whatever reasons, or is it that she can't because she's processing? Or I'm thinking even like acute stress type of thing where it's just she has no recollection, so she doesn't even realize that, you know, there are all these things that she needs to process, but in doing so she's kind of missing out on other things. So I don't know.
Yeah.
My mind is like,
And to go with that, like she's got like these 2 extremes, like the high
Yeah.
of being engaged and like finally like happy in that aspect, but at the same time like still not able to talk to Nicole and then and Wynonna about the really like serious things.
And that's a great distraction
Yeah.
over here. A happy distraction.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm thinking more about that.
Mm.
I feel like if anyone was just going to be like avoid, it would be Waverly.
Until she can't avoid it and she becomes
deal with
something else.
Wynonna in the bed of the truck and be like, yep, that makes sense. That seems
feel-
on brand.
I feel like though both Wynonna and Waverly have that gene. The
Oh, yeah.
avoiding gene.
Yeah, they just did a
Very
different way.
different polar opposite versions of it, but
Yeah. And I got the sense too that like, yes, Waverly might not be like talking to Wynonna about everything, but at the same time, she's becoming like ticked off because Wynonna is drunk all the time, out, forgetting things. Like when she first comes into Shorty's and she's like, where have you been? I've been
Do
calling
you
you for hours.
think that Waverly feels like she's grown up a whole lot? Like her wardrobe was very adult this time around. She was very like dressed like an adult. And we've heard her comment on her wardrobe this season, but she was very much like dressed like an adult. Do you think that she resents Wynonna for like regressing and in doing so sort of just like avoiding all of her stuff?
And like maybe like pulling her in back into those ways.
Or feeling like she shouldn't have to,
Yeah.
but like being there nonetheless because, she's her sister. But she's not like trying to make Wynonna, fix things with Doc or, sober up or anything.
Mhm.
And it's funny that like Waverly tries to nudge Doc to talk to Wynonna, but we haven't seen her try to nudge Wynonna to talk to Doc.
And I also think from that maturity point of view, because of this story where Nicole wasn't herself and then Bunny was all over her and everything else, she had to kind of be like the adult at the party where everybody else has been drinking,
Mhm.
So to a certain degree, she was the one who was kind of, and even at the engagement party, since everybody was under the spell, she was the one who had to kind of, so yeah, I definitely felt a little more of that maturity there.
the mom of the group.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Still repressing everything. But grown up about
And
it.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see it come out in the next few episodes
Oh
in
boy.
very bad ways.
Mm. Well, it can't be good.
And that's exactly what my point was going to bring up. Just talking about that a little bit is, what do we think, knowing that Wynonna is, spiraling or looking like she's going to? What do we think that might mean to their relationship, or what might have to happen if she continues to get worse?
Well, I think in the trailer we see her address it. She's like, Waverly's the one who says, I need some Earp Sister time.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she will address something.
Maybe.
I think Waverly
Waverly,
probably
fire.
wants her just to be like as excited as she is. And like I imagine
And happy.
like it's like when you're so passionately excited about something and then like you go to a movie, a nerdy movie or something that you're really excited about and you're so excited and then the person beside you goes, that was okay. It's like my heart. Like so I feel like maybe there's a bit of that. It's like she's like Waverly's so excited and happy. It wants this thing, like they had the engagement party, they had, like that sort of stuff. And then like Wynonna is just kind of like, yeah, I'm happy for you. Cool.
Whatevs.
Like, yeah. Yeah. So I think, I don't know, I got a bit of that from this episode of like Waverly just wanting her to kind of have that same level of excitement. And maybe that's why she kind of not yelled at her, but like gave her a bit of like, hey, you're late, like you're not here, like where were you, and that sort of stuff, is because she's just like, I want my sister here to be excited for me. Why is that not a thing that can happen?
Mhm.
I feel like I'm wondering if they'll have a bit of a, not a blow up, but like a little bit of a tiff. Because right now I feel like Waverly is giving Wynonna a bit of a long leash to just do what she needs to do and like process, which is why I'm thinking she's, nudging Doc a bit more than Wynonna, because she can see Wynonna's not in a place to do any of that work, whereas Doc may be. And so I think, she's like, okay, yeah, Wynonna is still getting drunk. And I could, you can kind of sense that she was getting irritated with her for forgetting the engagement, But again, at least to me, it kind of felt like she was irritated, but was like, okay, sure, you're going through some stuff, and I know you're lying about your plans, but okay, you're doing the best you can in this moment, so that is okay for me right now. But I'm wondering if, as things get closer, to their, more engagement stuff starts happening, and then if Wynonna is still not snapping out of it, if we'll kind of see Waverly really like give her a talking to, and like, you have to snap out of this, or you have to deal with these things. So I don't know, that's like that's where I feel like there's a bit of tension building between them. So yeah, I don't know, I would just love to see that, the drama of it all.
And on the Wynonna side of it, here's a question that and like something that popped up as I was rewatching. Do you think Wynonna holds anything against Waverly for naming her the hero at the end of season 3, giving her back that power? Because like, didn't she kind of lose the power from Bolshar ending the curse? And so like in that moment, like it was needed, because otherwise Bolshar would have been like, he would have won. But like when Wynonna gave that speech to Aemon about saying that like she didn't want to feel guilty for what she was, when what she is necessary. And like throughout the whole episode, we see her almost shoot Aemon like 2 or 3 times, but she doesn't. So is she like afraid to shoot Peacemaker because of what happened the last time she shot Peacemaker? And so does she hold Waverly accountable for that, because like Waverly kind of gave her those powers back? Maybe.
Interesting.
I hadn't mentally gone there. I just think
Yeah.
because she's spiraling and drunk so much, I'm not sure she's given much thought to anything. It's just
Okay.
instinct.
Instinct.
Certainly, with Aemon, or whoever, just, if I'm not happy with who I am, or I'm not able to deal with it well, I'm just going to go do whatever the F I want to.
Yeah.
I kind of saw it as a bit of a way for her to regain some control, or to have some power over the situation. Like, yeah, I can kill you anytime I want, but not really doing it, but just in her head knowing, hey, I can still do this, so I still have some kind of purpose, instead of actually shooting it and doing the thing. It's just,
Okay.
I can.
Mhm.
But that's just how I saw it.
Yeah, I always see that like when Wynonna goes sort of, as we say, like backwards in terms of like, drinking and all that again. I always see it as her slipping back into this mindset of like, well, if everyone says that I'm the town mess up, well, I might as well be the town mess up and own it. Like, so like I think she's kind of gone back to that sort of state, and I think it's a lot of it was probably to do with like obviously what she did at the end of the first half of the season, and like Doc's reaction to it, and like things like that. I think that she kind of just slides back into that role a lot easier, and it takes away some of the ownership in her mind probably on what she's done, to be like, well, this is what everyone expects of me, so this is what I'm going to be. And I think in my mind, I think Waverly, like Terry Ann said, that like she just she's got a bit of like an acceptance in some ways, or being like, well, when I was doing it again, or that's just what she's doing. I think that like Waverly probably recognizes, or I like to think, or think that she recognizes this pattern in her, and has to like almost wants to ride it out. Like, okay, like it's gonna come back around. You just got to give it the time. And I think it's almost Wynonna's way of processing. It's not healthy, but it's like her way of processing, of being like, okay, like I did what I had to do, what's necessary, like Jess said, and this is how everyone expects me to be dealing with it, so I'll deal with it this way. That's just my take.
Mhm.
I would like for Wynonna take.
My dog agrees with you.
Yes.
Now, the interesting thing too is with a lot of these perspectives, including ones that are kind of opposed to each other. I think they're all possible because that's what Wynonna has proven is she can go from, total town mess up to complete hero and everything in between. So that's what's going to be fascinating, I think, to see some of it play out is there going to be something that snaps her out of it? Is it just going to be a progression or regression or whatever it might be? It can be fascinating to see what it's going to mean to the Earp sisters too.
Oh man. Do you think that Wynonna resents Waverly for still being loved by everyone, even though she's done some terrible stuff? Because I don't know what you and Kylie just said, Kevin, about Wynonna being able to go from, I mean, we can call it 0 to hero just because that's fun. In the realm of like loved to deeply hated in the town for doing, and Waverly doing sort of pretty similar things on the surface of it and only being loved.
I think we talked about that in one of our last videos about like everyone's reaction to what Waverly did versus everyone's reaction to what Wynonna did, and how we all almost give Waverly this pass because like she's Waverly, she's the sweet, kind, whatever, but like you have Wynonna doing the exact, well, I mean, it was in his back, but like similar thing, but everybody was like so mad and so angry about like, well, how could she do that? And then no one's talking about like, well, Waverly also, like, it's just so, I think, yes.
Well, I think that's the tension that's like that Terry Ann was talking about. I think that there's the mutual resentment between the two. Drama.
Or they just love each other and everything's great and nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yes. Yeah.
What TV show are you watching?
Also, really randomly, this just popped into my head, but can we talk about for 1 second Waverly talking about the wings on the Cupid and the wings being like cut off, like clearly being removed? Is there something in that connects with Waverly and her angel?
I have this in my notes, and I like when I first watched, I thought Waverly was saying that I know him with some kind of like angel instinct, but on the rewatch, Dimitri is the one that walks by Nicole and Waverly when they're on the couch, and so then my mind went, well, she saw him that way, so she's like, do I know him because of that? But now it's like, could it be both?
Or is he Eve?
I forgot about Eve.
Oh my gosh.
I love that so much. I just love the idea of like, I can't remember, and please don't yell, don't like make fun of me, but I can't remember. Does Waverly have wings? Have we discussed this?
We have not,
right? Okay.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything.
Okay.
Just Julian, and then now the scars from Dimitri.
She probably has the genes for it.
And since he's a Cupid, obviously that kind of means that there's some kind of like different types of angels, and if he can cut off his wings,
that's what I was thinking.
Would Waverly be able to potentially cut off her wings if she needed to because of some reason that could possibly happen?
The winged hierarchy.
Anyways, that was a digression. Sorry.
No,
I was just curious.
It's just fascinating how each of us will watch the episodes, several times. Kind of like, as you pointed out there, Jess, you pick up on a slightly different take on another rewatch. And then we all kind of get a little mentally comfortable with, okay, I kind of got it. And then we have a conversation like this and all bets are off and you got to rewatch it again now. 6 different perspectives.
I actually like to not rewatch it before these calls because of this reason. And then now I go to rewatch it now, knowing everything that you guys have said, because I know you guys are going to pick out way better stuff than I ever would. So I always wait and I'm like, okay, they're going to know something that I definitely didn't see.
I only ever watched it twice before this, like the initial like, oh, it's new. And then like actually watch it to catch things because it just moves so fast.
I watched it 10 minutes before this call.
Same. I watched
Same.
it twice in that go. From the time I got home to then, it was on twice.
How many pieces of paper, Rita, are crumpled up that you ripped off your notebook and threw away and then rewrote?
I don't throw anything away.
Okay.
I might go
Sacred
back to an
notes.
idea. I can change my mind.
Growth.
Well, speaking of whether it's, this group here or just the Earpers in general, I also, we all adore just seeing the different fascinating perspectives and theories and everything else. One of them, and it's not so much Earp Sister related, but I'd be curious to get the opinions here, is at the strip club, Wynonna said the line when Dimitri first came out, "You should smile more, you'd be prettier." Which, was a great opportunity for Waverly to talk about reverse sexism. But how many of you remember the WonderCon video of Mel and Shamir when Mel talked about what happened in high school?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh my gosh.
See,
Yeah.
and that was me, because I didn't tag the two together. Someone on Twitter mentioned it, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness, did they work it in? I don't know, or was it just part of the lexicon? But so many layers,
Mhm.
so many layers.
Yeah.
And I'll have to make a note for those of you that are watching now, maybe who haven't seen that I put the link in the description, because it's,
Mhm.
that was way back, days after the show premiered in 2016. And that's when maybe for some of us, certainly for myself, we got an inkling that this cast is different. If our lead is going to open up about something this raw, this early on, this is a special group.
Hmm.
I did love that moment though in the episode.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Again, mostly because something like that, they can take a subject. This is what I love about the show. They can take a subject that has a deeper connection or meaning to it, and they can throw it into a moment in a strip club. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what's so great about the show, is that that it teeters the line of the serious and the funny so well that if you're not looking or thinking of a moment like that, you would miss it. It would go by like that. Like, the pace is so quick and stuff that, like, but for people who are watching and pay attention, and even like, obviously I noticed it as a reference to like, you should smile more. So like it was like, so it is, but it's such a fascinating place that they put it in the show that always makes it better for me, I think. And like, they handle it so well.
Does Waverly know that Wynonna was a dancer at one point?
We don't know.
Because Nicole knows,
Mhm.
but I don't.
Like
But like, she didn't.
should.
Nicole
But,
can't keep a
like-
single secret.
Yeah.
Waverly.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
thinking it came
Remember
out.
that, like, there was that,
Aphrodite?
like Wynonna's also been on that state. Like, Wynonna's been up there doing that,
Yeah.
hearing that too. Like, there's that whole
Mhm.
other like,
Mhm.
oh, it's just another day at the office kind of a vibe too with that line. Like,
Well, she did say,
even in that moment, there's more context potentially than even just the like conversation they're having.
well, she did
Mhm.
say, I didn't know it would be dudes. So like, clearly, like, normally it's women. So
Right.
yeah. So
Different bar, I guess.
maybe, yeah, true.
Now,
Other-
one of the Earp Sister scenes in this episode that we haven't really talked about yet is the one in the barn when Wynonna steals the glitter, basically.
Mhm.
And that goes back a little bit to what I think you were saying, Rita, or we all were in conversation. You definitely get the vibe in that scene that Waverly is the mature one, and Wynonna's the one being a little immature, which could be part of the spell part, maybe. But again, that's definitely a dynamic where I thought we've kind of reversed a little.
And
Yeah.
like, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, did they say the rules of the spell? Is it like it takes a deeper desire out of someone? Like, so there has to be a like already there, or no?
It's like, from what Dimitri said, it only becomes sexual if that person like is wanting it to be. Like,
Right.
it's not just a sexual love. It could be like the kind of love that like Doc showed Cleo like as someone that's there for them.
Which like so important. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh, story wise.
I'm not a wine doc person. I'm really not. But holy
That
moly.
he's not. Yeah.
Let me tell you, the fact that Doc did not like hit the under the enchantment, that he didn't like take it to a sexual level, but Wynonna did, shows just like such an imbalance in their relationship. But then while under the enchant, or right after not being enchanted, Wynonna says, I don't want to let go. And Doc is like,
don't even.
Right.
That face.
That moment.
That face, yes. Mel's face, my
I
goodness.
know.
And this is the
And then you
problem.
like want to be mad at both of them
I know.
for
But this
both for all four of those events.
But this is the problem with the two of them, because you have that scene there where I don't want to let go, but then you have in the past, I think it was at season 3, where he's like, just tell me that you like me, and she won't.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like such a parallel scene of one, and this is their whole relationship though, of like Doc's normally always all in, as we know, whereas Waverly, or not Waverly, sorry, that'd be a different show. Wynonna is never as in as Doc is, and so that shift there for me was like so fascinating. But then she went and did what she did at the end of the episode, which is classic runaway tactic. So it's like yeah.
But it's also interesting that it's Eamon, because he is kind of the male counterpart to her. He's like, yeah, I said I was bored. I guess that makes me a monster.
Yeah.
But, you know, Dimitri said I didn't have a soul, so I let him go away, whatever.
Because I think Doc is got such a moral, well, he like breathes this moral compass that he wants, whereas like she's not really on that spectrum of like that. So like I think Eamon is like more, like you said, on her level of you know, okay, I'm a monster, great, but like I do find it heartbreaking. Although would love a triangle, would love it between the three of them. Oh man.
Yeah.
Eamon's in the doc, so
Yeah, we know. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We got the love triangle there. Just saying. But anyways, yeah.
For you, Kylie.
Going back to that barn scene, and I think, you know, so one of my things in my notes, I said that why didn't Waverly see what Wynonna did with taking the glitter? Like, why couldn't she see that? Like, you know, because she saw the drugging of the drinks at the end of season 3, but she didn't see this. And then our conversation earlier with Rita saying how Waverly is choosing to maybe not say some things, and with that look at the end of the barn, like made me think that she was thinking about so many different things in that moment to not even kind of notice what Wynonna was, like her intentions of taking.
Yeah. I mean, again, because almost everybody was under the spell. She had so much running through her head, I think
Yeah.
at least that time, it was just too much to process, to
I think
notice.
Bunny Loblaw alone was too much to process.
Right? But at the same time being jealous that Wynonna was talking about Nicole's boobs.
I do think I'm gonna bring back an obscure line that was mentioned, because I have to.
yes.
I think that it was important that the mention about the flaming ladybug in the truck bed, when Wynonna's like, Bunny's into your flaming ladybug. But that was a line from episode 203, when it was about the lipstick. It was when Waverly is affected by Miction. And with like the homecoming and the hockey stuff and all of that, where you know, Wynonna finally realizes, or sort of starts to understand, that Waverly is the abducted is not the word. What's
Possessed.
the word?
Possessed is the word you want.
Me. Where she finally realizes that she's possessed at the end of the episode. But I think the sort of willingness not to see her kind of steal the glitter in the same way that Waverly ate the lipstick, in a sort of similar scene too. They're like getting ready to go celebrate, getting ready to go do stuff. They've gotten dressed up, blah, 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 all that stuff. Sort of like a willingness to not see what's right in front of you
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Great throwback.
Really big stretch there, but I think that I would be remiss if I didn't think that specific line was brought in for a reason.
Well, and with that, how many of us hide like what's actually going on that we should be talking about when there's like a function where you have to make everyone else comfortable or whatever, particularly in the northern half of this continent,
Yeah.
middle northern. The way I grew up, anyhow. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
So any other topics or things to cover from this one, folks, that we missed? From your notes? Rita, anyone?
The flaming ladybug was the last one.
Yeah, that's something to go out on, because yes.
I just don't feel like they're hearing each other when they're talking.
Mm-mm.
I don't think anyone's actually listening to the person in front of them except for Waverly and Doc.
Mhm.
I agree.
But that's why it felt like season 1. It felt like the Saki conversation where Waverly's like, you've never tried to do anything, which is the worst thing to say to Wynonna. And Wynona's like, everyone loves you, which is the worst thing to say to Waverly because it negates both of their problems.
Yeah, but like even within that, I feel like Waverly's extra somewhere else on purpose in a way. And even like I don't think there was a whole lot of Nicole interaction with anyone outside of being, glittered up. But yeah, I don't know. Everything kind of feels like it's a little bit over here. Edges and compartmentalizing.
One thing I was surprised not to see in this episode was the naked Wynonna on the stage that we've seen in the promo that I assumed, it's okay, I didn't watch the trailer for next episode. I go in blind. That was like, I was assuming that was part of the bachelorette party, but no.
It may still very well have happened in that place too, but I think it was a different bar, honestly.
Right, okay.
I think that happens. Yeah, it happens at the Glory Hole. I think is where we see her naked.
Right. Doesn't it always?
All right. Well, I think we've talked this one out pretty good. Had a blast there. Obviously, folks, if you're watching, if you have thoughts, agree, disagree, things we missed, things you want to interject, by all means, throw them in the comments here on YouTube or send us a message on Twitter. Let us know so we can dive into it a little more on our next video, because we've got 5 more episodes still to go here in season 4. So as we know, I'm sure it's going to be a roller coaster. And I'm sure Terry Ann will get that drama she's looking for at some point.
It's always one really funny episode right before they crash and burn your heart.
It's usually the same episode.
Yeah.
We've been here before, so yes. Well, we do appreciate all of you tuning in. It's been a blast to get together again here. Looking forward to having this on a regular basis. So again, thank you everybody for watching. Keep Earping it up, and we hope you all take care. Bye.
Bye.